Okay, I just had to go through some prompts. Happy Tuesday. What a beautiful day to be alive. I'm sitting here in the high plains of Lavina, Montana. These are mountains, but they're high plains, so it's kind of desert-like. It's real arid. And it's a beautiful day. It's really awesome. So, I'm chilling here with myself. I just spoke to Jeffrey Schoenfeld, and he's in the prompt. He's in the queue. And so I'm sitting here in front of the volunteer fire department because I had to drive 6 miles to get a signal. And it's not the greatest signal, but it is. It'll be a working signal, so we're good. And it's been really interesting. I actually producing another show, Weedu Wanders, The Next Generation, and episode 1 with Tim Rogers is still uploading to YouTube. It took like 6. It was like 5 or 6 hours when I got the show made last night, and started uploading it, and it failed in the upload. I discovered that at 3 in the morning, so I started the process over at 3 a.m. and it's still in the process. I see how it works. So I came up here so that I could have this show happen, and I'm going to go back and be working on this show. So I'm in a production mode. That's truly what's happening. The road inspires me. It's magic bus time, I guess. It's really crazy cool. Really had a great time with him. It's been a awesome experience and opportunity. He's really a fine man, an awesome artist, and just a wheelhouse of stories. He's been doing a lot of rodeos. So, okay, Jeffrey is now appearing in comments. He's seeking the prompts. I already put him in the invite section, and so I'm gonna look, but he should be already in the queue. I set them all up, and we talked about this. Other people that have been doing this with me know it is a process going on. So I just chill with it. Somehow it always happens. As a matter of fact, I wrote a new poem this morning, first one in a little while, and I felt real inspired. So I haven't even published it yet because I'm still waiting for the Weedu Wanders to upload, and get it ready. So, I'm just, I'm chilling up here on the mountaintop, man. I went from the Blue Ridge Mountains to, I'm not sure what this range, there's 7 ranges in Montana. I'm on one of them, so to speak. High plains. It's very, very pretty, very cool. So, I do have guests coming up. I still have just an ongoing cool lineup of awesome guests. Harry Matadine's going to come next Tuesday. And then I'm going to have Nancy Fox and maybe a couple other guests. I'm going to invite them to join me, but we're going to talk about the purpose and the mission of doing these retreat ideas, and they're in formulation, and we're welcoming input, and it's an ongoing process. So We're going to do a broadcast dedicated to knowing more about that idea, a live show. And then John Trammell. I spoke to him last Saturday. What a character. He's got over 400 videos out there. And he's amazing. So Jeffrey's still pushing buttons. You know, it's funny how this all works. It really is. I'm going to just go ahead and, I don't know what I can do. I really don't. Here the thing is, and this is what I explained to Jeffrey. I said, I've only done it from this side. I've set it all up. I put people in the invite, in the queue, in the prompt. Say done. And go live. That's how I roll. And for some reason, it's effortless for some. It's just like they click the button and it goes blam. There they are. They're coming in invite, they're connecting, and all of a sudden they're in the screen. Just like that. Effortless. So I've had it happen the other way with several guests. Variable reasons, different continents, countries, time zones, connections. I mean, there's a lot of variables in going live. So, Jeffrey's pushing buttons. And, a lot of my, a lot of people that are watching, I know that are there, they know some of these prompts. And this is what I told Jeffrey, is that I don't know what goes on your end because I've never been on that end. I've only been on this end, setting it up so that people can come in. And then what happens on the other end, on your device, that's a mystery to me. It's part of that process. And we just have to see how it unfolds and presents itself. Now, Jeffrey is a Facebook subscriber of mine. And he came in on comments with me, and we started a dialogue and then a conversation, and we've had some extensive conversations. And he's a very interesting guy. And he's well studied, well trained in different modalities. He is a chiropractor, but he does a lot of other healing, deep healings that he works with, and he's been doing this for quite some time. So, yeah, he's pretty cool. And that's why I invited him, because he has a lot to say. He's a really interesting guy. And so I don't know. Let's go to 5D, Glenn. So let me check the prompters again. I don't want to leave Jeffrey out there just frustrated and hanging. Now, I mentioned to Jeffrey before the broadcast that it seems that in the series of buttons that you can Okay. The thing is, he's got a couple of different devices. And the smartphone one isn't the one that he's working with, and it's not working. And that would be the best choice. So I don't know exactly all of the things that Jeffrey is going through. I'm just I'm hanging the way I hang always. I set this all up to make this happen, and sometimes it doesn't happen. There's only one time that it completely didn't happen. That was Leah Sampson, but we re-recorded it. I think the next day on Valentine's Day. So who knows? I don't know. At this point, we are broadcasting. People can hear me now. It doesn't work for Jeffrey to come in on Messenger. I've got him in the prompts on the invite. He's looking for other ways to get in. And if he doesn't get in, we'll reschedule and work it out and figure it out. I've learned this from the beginning. But I'm going to just keep chilling and see if it works out for Jeffrey. If it comes into, it's all timing. Now, I guess since I'm sitting here, and I told you I wrote a poem this morning. First poem I've written in a little while. I'm going to set my phone back up here so I can get my notebook out. And yeah, I was pretty excited about this. Yeah, I got to tell you. Okay, I left the Blue Ridge Mountains Thursday, and got sidetracked for a moment in Louisville, Kentucky. Managed to get to Missouri. Did a turnaround there. Hit the road again, and so basically I've driven about 2,200 miles, and with a transfer of vehicles. And so there's been a lot of development, a lot of opportunity. Now, I could call it challenge, I could call it stress or problems or any of these things, but really, nah. These are just opportunities presenting themselves. And I learned from Lao Tzu a long time ago. He authored the I Ching, and one of his quotes from thousands of years at this point. Do you have the patience to let your mud settle until the water clears and the right action appears on its own? First time I read that, heard that, I went, wow, now there's a deep well. And I practice that. It's a mantra because it's important. Having fun, I think, is important. Having a sense of humor is really important, and not getting all stressed out and taking things too serious or personal is even more important still. Because we get caught up in this kind of almost like a hamster wheel of crazy making, and we just go round and round, and it just accelerates and gets worse, deeper, more off purpose, more off point. And so I reflect on these things as they appear. So this is what appeared this morning for me. It's called each new breath. Stop thinking once. Choose again. It's already done. Now begins. No need to dwell. Remove your doubts. Breathe in the moment. Move about. Imagine your greatness. Celebrate now. Instinctual heart. Trusting now. Feel your being. Go with the flow. welcome to your life. Now you know. You are it. Use your tools. Go inside and find your jewels. Being present, redefined. Just surrender the shattered mind. Each new breath is your chance to free yourself from circumstance. And there it is. Each new breath. That's life. Every moment, breathe it in. Be in the now. Trust. Surrender. Don't lose your sense of humor. Look for the goodness. Look for the best. Look inside. These things exist. They exist in all of us. Goodness, greatness, kindness, heart, empathy, trust, allowance. It's just a lot of people got waylaid, got led astray, got pushed aside, perhaps even got stomped a couple of times. Now, does that make them wrong? Does that make them bad? No, it just makes them a result. They're a product of their environment. They're a result of all things they've considered in time about and of and with their life. And rarely does anyone stop to consider who they're being as a human. Who are you being? It's a real straightforward question, and I think it's an important one that we all really need to look at some point in our life if we ever really want to understand this whole process, this experiment, this experience, this whole dance that we do called life. What's it all about? Why are we here? Why did we choose it? I think it's important. I think these things are really important things to get clarity on. But that's just me. And I'm a fucking weirdo. People would just go, oh man, what's up with all that hippie shit? You know? Really, what's wrong with you, bro? Why don't you get a life, get a job, get a title, be somebody, charge people? Why don't you open a store? What are you doing? You're giving all this away? What's wrong with you? Are you nuts? Yeah, perhaps. I know I'm a crazy mofo. You know, I'm just that's the kind of guy I am. I just make this shit up as I go along. I don't really have any real agenda, a schedule or a calendar, although I do the best I can. I actually came on live, and here I am. And I know Jeffrey wants to get in, and outside of going through several gyrations at this point, I'm just going to let it ride. I'm going to reschedule with Jeffrey. It'll be all right. Work it out. In the moment, I'm just going to be here now and let it roll. It's happened once before. I did the day that I had Harry Matadine booked, and he just got into the UK, and he was spent, and he didn't have any energy to do it, and so he didn't show up, and I kind of knew that just before the show. So it was ORIN Oracle Live with Weedu Shivambu, and apparently that's what this broadcast is as well. It happens, and it's all good. All I want to do is keep spreading this love shit around. Man, love shit looks good on everything, man. It's the greatest compliment of a condiment you can spread on the human beings. Just lavish that stuff. Love, love, love. When you start really understanding how powerful you are, when you start drinking your pee particularly, pee drinkers really have an edge that others just can't seem to grasp. And that's okay. They can call us vampires and occultists and, all sorts of fabrications, all sorts of psyop, distracted, misleading, misinformation, simply to keep people guessing and off track. I mean, they do that with the distilled water. The conversations of all dimensions continue in this light about, being completely raw, never giving up meat, you name it, people will argue about all of it. They do. And so what's correct, really? What's right for us? What's the best choice? What's our healthiest idea? What's the greatest version of ourselves we're going to invent next? And who are we being now? Takes time to consider these things. I do as much me time as I can find. Me time is healthy time. People should get all the me time they can. Especially if you're in a job, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a family, raising kids, dealing with layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of things you got to do. No time for being when it's all about doing. And there was a time when people would do so they could have. Now it seems that people just have to do and be have-nots anyway. It's funny how it works. Me, I'm a minimalist. I just go on the simplest means possible and trust and allow every moment I get. And why do I do that? Because I recognize that there's no control over anything except what we perceive. Simply our point of view. That's the only thing you can really absolutely unconditionally control, your perspective point of view. Everything else comes and goes. Shit happens. Watch out. Which way you're going to be facing when the fan comes, You get fair warnings for tsunamis. And crazy making is just a part of our culture. Negative thinking, violence, separation, judgment, hard opinions, my way or the highway mentality. This is so redundant, you can find it in a box store. Our whole culture is a giant box store. A series of malls, to strip malls, to strip clubs. This is our world. This is our culture. Now, what part do you sign up for? How do you subscribe? What's your thought process? What's your sphere of influence? What's your frame of reference? These are all just important questions to ask yourself. It's nobody's business but your own. I'm not asking you. Ask yourself. But these are simple questions that have critical impact on how we choose to live life. And it's mostly simple stuff. I mean, really, primarily, it's all just simple stuff. It's not big, it's not complicated, it's not, it doesn't require a whole lot except your heart, your mind, your focus, attention, and your intent. Just have intent. Get out of want. Wanting leaves things dangling like a carrot for a greyhound racer. It's all in the want. And you chase the want, which separates you from the now. So if we can get that out of our head, stop thinking want. So it's just a self-sabotaging mindset. Talking about what you don't want, what you don't like, what you don't need. Every time you go, I don't like this or don't want that, you're actually inviting it in. It's magnetic. We're simply electromagnetic fields, and we're mostly water. We're perfect conduits. So when you're open to your receivers and your universal mind and tap into that shit, unfurl those glands, get them out of decalcification and get them into liquidation, your fluid, your pineal, your pituitary, your joints, your function, your heart, your liver, your lungs, all of it, man. Get in it. It's yours, your temple. You ruined it. You can fix it. It's effortless, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's only as hard as you make it out to be. Otherwise, it's like riding on a roller coaster with your arms waving in the air like you just don't care. Or white knuckling the handlebar and screaming for your miserable little life. That's life. That's how it goes. That's how it rolls. So, how do you want to play? What's your part? What do you bring to the table? What do you have? What's your game? And these are all just simple questions. I'm not asking you. You have to ask you. I mean, these are just self-analysis. And the more we listen to ourselves, follow our instincts, trust our heart, open our mind, free ourselves, start drinking pee. You want to open up your heart chakra? Wow. You want to see self-love? Wow. You want to see a complete paradigm shift in your consciousness and your empathy and your patience and your self-love, self-respect? Whew. Doesn't get any better than that, man, I'm telling you. Pee is the real deal. It works. It's fast, it's efficient, and you can go through a lot of different processes. Detox is a big one. And so you have to be patient, and you have to be in the process. I got a call I'm going to ignore. Just like that. So, yeah. Who are you being? Where are you now? What do you pay attention to? How do you want your experience to be? I'm going to ignore that a second time. All right. I guess it's reconnected. I'm back. Oh, this is all a part of the ongoing process, living life, being present, um, just adjusting, make it up as you go along, see what works. If it works, work it. If it's not working, you might want to reconsider. That's all. So I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast. I'm going to go back and check on the show I'm producing, and I'm going to hook up with Jeffrey. We'll reschedule this. We'll make this one happen. He's really a wonderful guy and a well of wisdom, and so we'll bring him back. Next week is Harry Matadine, and I just love y'all. I do. The only thing that makes life rewarding to me is the experience I'm having. Now, I have a really quality experience with myself. I actually do. I love myself. I respect myself. I'm okay with myself. I don't make myself bored or lonely. I don't make myself crazy. I'm just self. Do that and just allow it to be and just be in being. Now, can I do that 24/7? It has its moments. Truly it does. But it doesn't matter if I have to take a detour, a little roundabout, hit a bridge out, have to make a U-turn. None of these matter to me. It just doesn't matter to me. It's all just part of the journey. The journey is our life. Destination, unknown. Final scene, yet to be recorded. Past stories, most people, plenty of them. So, do they choose to live in those stories? Forecast future stories? Or allow the moment to unfold and present itself? I choose that. It's just more entertaining to me. What's going on right in front of me is more entertaining than anything. And when there's nothing going on, that's entertainment too, because I really cherish the silence. Listening to the breeze, birds, just nature. And I've been privileged from the Blue Ridge Mountains to whatever these are called, but I'm in the mountains in Montana, and it is glorious. It's a beautiful day to be alive. I encourage everybody to celebrate your life. Quit beating yourself up. Get out of your way. Start rising to a higher occasion. Recognize your greatness and become something that you have only begun to imagine. Imagine that. So, I think I'm going to go and see how my other production is doing. This one will take several hours, I know, to upload, even if it's a short one, because of my signal over there as well on Wi-Fi. So I'm in a lot of production mode right now, and it's taken a lot of time, and I have to pay attention. So, what I can offer you, be in the now, drink your pee, realize it's all an inside job. Nobody else got the assignment but you. Step up. Take on the assignment. Your life is that valuable. You are that important. And you've got a lot of love to share. Quit hiding out. Let that wounded child run free. Dance barefoot in the sunshine, waving their arms about, collecting dandelions for dinner. It's a good salad. So, keep your peace together. Always love yourself. Love everyone, always, endlessly, unconditionally, because you love yourself that much as well. And always spread that shit around. Always. And boom! Ha! 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 You've just been loved. Oh, by the way, before I go, I had 2-gallon aged urine tub soak this morning and a shave. I feel pretty. Bye now.